Hey friend, lean in close. Right now, wherever you are, maybe scrolling in bed after a long day, maybe stuck in traffic, maybe just needing something real, imagine your phone lighting up at 2:17 a.m. with a message from the one person who holds your entire career in her hands. You open it, and there it is. A photo you were never meant to see. A caption that burns, see what you could have had. Your heart slams against your ribs. What would you reply? Would you play it safe? Would you flirt back? Or would you choose the harder road, the honest one? Stay with me, all the way to the final line, because this isn't just Nathan Caldwell's story. This is the story of every person who ever lost everything for doing the right thing, and somehow found everything they were truly looking for. Let's begin. Nathan Caldwell was the kind of man who still set his alarm for 6:15 a.m. even on weekends, just in case. 32 years old, sharp brown eyes that had seen too many spreadsheets and not enough sunsets, he had worked at Harper Tech for 7 years, climbing from junior analyst to senior without ever calling in sick or taking a single sick day. His wife, Elena, called him "my rock," and their 6-year-old daughter, Mia, believed her daddy could fix anything from broken crayons to bad dreams. They lived in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in Chicago's Logan Square, the kind where the radiator clanked like an old friend and the kitchen smelled of Elena's café con leche every morning. That night in mid-October, the city outside was cold and restless, wind rattling the windows like impatient fingers. Nathan was half asleep on the couch, laptop still open to quarterly projections, when his phone buzzed once, twice, then went silent. He almost ignored it. But something made him reach over. The message was from Victoria Harper, CEO, founder, the woman whose face was on every industry magazine cover, the woman who had once shaken his hand at the company Christmas party and said, "You're going places, Caldwell." The photo loaded slowly. Victoria, in nothing but soft silk lingerie the color of midnight, standing in what was clearly her penthouse bedroom, city lights glittering behind her like scattered diamonds. Her hair was loose, her smile knowing. And the caption, typed with deliberate care, "See what you could have had." Nathan sat up so fast the laptop slid to the floor. His mouth went dry. This wasn't for him. It couldn't be. He read it again, heart hammering so loud he was sure Elena would wake in the next room. For one dizzy second he felt the pull, power, beauty, the dangerous thrill of being noticed by someone untouchable. But then he remembered Mia's laugh, Elena's tired smile when she came home from her night nursing shifts, the mortgage payment due in 12 days. His fingers hovered. He could delete it. Pretend it never happened. Or he could. He typed with shaking hands. "Ms. Harper, I believe this message was sent to me by mistake. Please be careful, personal photos like this in our industry can be risky, especially across power lines. I've deleted it immediately and will never mention it again. Take care." He hit send before he could overthink, then deleted the entire thread, cleared the notification, and stared at the dark screen for a long time. Sleep never came. The next morning at 8:47 a.m., security was waiting at his desk. 2 large men in black suits, expressions blank as marble. "Mr. Caldwell, please come with us." No explanation. No box for his things. Just the long, silent walk past open-mouthed colleagues, past the glass walls of the executive floor where Victoria Harper's office door stood closed like a tomb. In HR, the termination letter was already printed. Insubordination. Creation of a hostile work environment. Violation of company conduct policy. They slid it across the table like it was a parking ticket. When Nathan tried to speak, the woman in the gray suit simply said, "Ms. Harper has already signed it. Your final paycheck will be direct deposited. Please leave the building immediately." He walked out into the October wind with nothing but his coat and the echo of his own heartbeat. The city felt suddenly enormous and cruel. By the time he reached the train, his phone was blowing up, not with job offers, but with whispers. Someone had already leaked that Caldwell got fired for hitting on the CEO. The rumor mill worked faster than any algorithm. That night, Elena met him at the door, eyes already red. Mia ran to him anyway, arms wide, shouting, "Daddy's home early." He picked her up and buried his face in her hair that smelled like strawberry shampoo, and for the first time in his adult life, he cried where his daughter could see. The weeks that followed were a slow-motion car crash. Savings drained. Elena picked up extra shifts at the hospital while Nathan applied to 87 jobs and received 87 polite rejections. Interviewers would smile, then glance at their screens, and the warmth would vanish. "We heard about the incident at Harper Tech," one said bluntly. "We can't risk that energy here." Nathan started waking at 3 a.m. every night, replaying the photo, the caption, his reply. Had he been stupid? Arrogant? Should he have just flirted back, kept his mouth shut, kept the paycheck? The shame tasted like rust in his mouth. He stopped shaving. Stopped cooking. Started drinking cheap whiskey alone on the fire escape while the city lights blurred. One freezing Tuesday, the landlord slid an eviction notice under the door. Mia asked why they couldn't buy her new winter boots. Elena held Nathan that night and whispered, "I married you because you're the kind of man who does the right thing even when it hurts. Don't you dare stop being that man now." But her voice cracked, and he felt the weight of her exhaustion like another eviction notice on his chest. Rock bottom arrived on a gray Thursday when Nathan stood in the food bank line holding Mia's small hand, both of them wearing coats that no longer zipped properly. The volunteer behind the table was an old colleague, Marcus from accounting, the quiet guy who used to bring donuts on Fridays. Marcus didn't say a word about the firing. He just loaded their bag with extra rice and whispered, "I left Harper Tech 2 months after you. Couldn't sleep at night anymore. I started a small non-profit, Ethical Tech Alliance. We help whistleblowers, protect employees, train companies on real integrity. I could use someone who knows the inside of these corporate machines, and who still has a conscience." Nathan laughed bitterly. "I'm the guy who got fired for having one." Marcus smiled like he'd been waiting years to hear those words. Exactly. The first month at the nonprofit was unpaid. Nathan worked from their tiny kitchen table while Mia did homework beside him and Elena slept between shifts. He built case files, reached out to journalists, helped former employees file complaints without fear. For the first time in months, his hands stopped shaking. The shame began to loosen its grip, not because life got easier, but because he was finally using his pain for something bigger than himself. Then came the night everything shifted again. A young woman named Priya reached out anonymously, another Harper Tech survivor. Victoria Harper had sent her similar, accidental, messages, but Priya had screenshots. Together with Marcus's network, they quietly helped a major tech magazine piece together a story that would eventually expose years of power abuse at the highest levels. Nathan's name never appeared. He didn't want it to. But when the article dropped, his phone rang with a job offer from a small ethical investment firm in Minneapolis. "We read between the lines," the founder said. "We want people who choose integrity when no one's watching." They moved in March. The new apartment had a tiny backyard where Mia could plant flowers. Elena got a day-shift nursing job with better pay and actual weekends off. Nathan's new title was Director of Ethical Practices, and every morning he woke up before the alarm, not because he was afraid of being late, but because he couldn't wait to get to work. 6 months later, on a warm summer evening, Nathan stood on the stage at the Ethical Tech Alliance's first gala. The room was full of people who had once been silenced. He didn't talk about the photo or the firing. He talked about the night he chose to protect a stranger's dignity instead of his own paycheck. He talked about the eviction notice and the food bank line and the way his daughter still believed her daddy could fix anything. Then he looked straight into the camera they were live streaming and said the words that had carried him through every dark morning. "If you're watching this and you're scared to do the right thing because it might cost you your job, your reputation, your safety, hear me. It might cost you all of that. But it will never cost you your soul. And one day, when the dust settles, you'll look around and realize the life you built on honesty is the only one worth living." Later that night, back in their new home, Mia climbed into his lap with a drawing she'd made, a stick figure family standing under a rainbow, and above them, big crayon letters, "My daddy is brave." Nathan held his daughter close, looked at Elena across the room, and for the first time in a long time, he believed it. "So here's the truth, friend, the one I promised you'd hear if you stayed till the end. The world will always test what you're made of. Sometimes the test arrives at 2 a.m. in the form of a single message that could destroy everything. In that moment, you have a choice. You can protect yourself at any cost, or you can protect what's right. The first road is easier in the beginning. The second road is hell for a while. But it leads home. Choose the second road. Your future self, and everyone who loves you, will thank you for it." The end. But really, beautiful soul, this is only the beginning of your own brave chapter.